Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? I keep hearing these dinar gurus keep saying, we got to go international. We got to go international. And then you ask them in the comments, what do you mean by going international? They don't have an answer for that. They have no idea what they're talking about. They got to go international. I did have one guru respond saying that, to go international means we're going to be trading on the Forex. And I was like, good Lord, nobody knows. Nobody knows. So let's go ahead and explain to you what that means, because it sounds fancy when you go, we just need to go international. Yeah, it sounds fancy, but Iraq's already international. So what the hell are you talking about? Let's get into this. So, the Iraqi dinar, is it recognized internationally? Of course it is. The Iraqi dinar is the official currency of Iraq and is used within the country for all monetary transactions. While the Iraqi dinar is not as widely recognized as some other international currency, it does have some level of international recognition. It's already recognized internationally. As far as exchange rates and trading, the Iraqi dinar is traded on the foreign exchange market. It is on a lot of different exchange markets, but the Forex it is not currently trading on yet, which means that it is recognized by financial institutions, businesses, and individuals who participate in currency trading. This recognition allows the dinar to be exchanged for other currencies, such as the US dollar or the euro, at various exchange rates. This recognition is essential for international trade and investment, as well as for those who hold dinar as an investment or for personal use. So I showed everybody that on the Forex does recognize the Iraqi dinar. As a matter of fact, it's listed on there, but it is not currently trading. That doesn't mean it's not currently trading on other platforms, but the Forex is a biggie. International trade and investment. Iraq is a significant oil producer, and the country's economy is heavily dependent on oil revenues. As a result, many international businesses and investors are interested in investing in or trading with Iraq. The Iraqi dinar's recognition as the official currency of Iraq is essential for these transactions, as it allows for the accurate valuation and transfer of funds between the involved parties. The fact that Iraq has so much oil, do you think they just sell to the U.S. only? Is that what you're trying to say? No. They deal with people around the world. And so the Iraqi dinar is a recognizable currency. I'm always curious when I see dinar content creators talk about it needs to go internationally. What does that mean to you? I guarantee you this. After this video, then they'll start saying the same thing I'm saying. They go, well, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. No, you didn't. Recognition by the international organizations. International organizations such as the IMF and the World Bank recognizes the Iraqi dinar as the official currency of Iraq. These organizations provide financial assistance and guidance to Iraq in managing its economy and implementing economic reforms. And their recognition of the dinar is essential for Iraq's ability to access these resources. Iraq is already recognized internationally. So, what is Pimpy talking about? When I talk about the Iraqi dinar, you'll hear me say to get back out there on the international market. I never say it needs to be recognized. They need to get out there on the international market. And how do you do that? By getting back on the SWIFT system. Yeah, you notice nobody else talks about that. So somebody said to me, Pimpy, can you please do a video talking about what they need to do to get back on the SWIFT system? Here we go. Iraq's suspension from the SWIFT system. Iraq was suspended from the SWIFT system due to the country's failure to comply with international sanctions imposed on Iran. Iran is a pain in the ass for Iraq. The politicians that run Iraq are all Iranian-backed politicians. We're talking about Maliki and his group of friends. I've said this several times. The issue with these politicians, there's a group of them. And every time there's an election, all they do is swap positions. One time this person's considered the president, the other guy is considered the prime minister, you know what I mean? And then they swap. That's all they do. The same group of people, and I'm talking about Maliki's people, have been controlling the government since 2003. Same group of people. And all of them are a problem to Iraq. You have to get rid of them. Sauder had that opportunity and he blew it. Sauder wanted to put a government together with a new group of people, away from Maliki and his friends' control of Iraq and the government. He tried to make that happen. He was close, but failed. And because they're still in charge of the government, they're still finding ways to funnel money over into Iran. And that's one of the biggest holdups, keeping Iraq from being back on the SWIFT system. This suspension severely impacted Iraq's financial sector and its ability to conduct international transactions. This is what I'm talking about when I say they need to be recognized on the international market. I just don't go, oh, they need to be recognized internationally. Yeah, what do you mean internationally? That can mean a lot of things. But nobody is pointing out exactly what that means. But like I said, I promise you, after I release this video, people are going to start going, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. To get back on the SWIFT system, Iraq needs to meet specific requirements and demonstrate its commitment to compliance with international sanctions. So the first one is implementing an effective anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing regime, which involves strengthening its financial intelligence unit, enhancing regulatory framework, and improving the capacity of its financial institutions to identify and report suspicious transactions. So keep in mind, implemented reform in the banking sectors. And that's when they started getting these transactions going, and then they got a bunch of them blocked because the United States is like, hold on, Sparky, you can't move too quick. We have issues with some of these accounts. And then 14 banks ended up with sanctions real quick. That new system that they're in allows the United States and the international community to monitor where the money is going and what's happening with the money. That's a no-no to these criminals. So the software in the banking institutions that is necessary for them to get their crap together is already implemented. So what they're learning real quick is they can't keep doing bad crap because they get caught doing it. So as far as anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing, that process is already in the works, which is good for Iraq. Enhancing the transparency of its financial system by ensuring the accuracy and completeness of information provided to this SWIFT system, and by adhering to international standards for the exchange of financial information. We already see that in the works. Go back to when those 14 banks got nailed. So we know it works. We know they got the proper software there. We know reform is taking place. They're just not quite there yet. Demonstrating the commitment to implementing the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions and other international sanction regimes, including those targeting Iran and other countries or entities of concern. So Iran was involved with the currency auctions, but then Iraq got caught, and they were told, don't do that anymore. But that was the only way for Iran to get a bulk of US dollars that they needed to do business themselves internationally. So as far as them being involved with the currency auctions, that should have stopped. Now, notice I said it should have stopped. We haven't heard any more about it from the United States, but Iran should not be involved with the currency auctions. The currency auctions are a great way for Iraq and Iran to do illegal crap. It always has been. Establishing a robust legal framework to support its financial sector's compliance with international sanctions, which includes the criminalizing of sanction violations and the imposition of penalties for non-compliance. The issue with going after the criminals that are involved, that would include the government of Iraq, because they're the ones causing all these infractions. Look, I spoke about this before. Maliki and a couple of other politicians, they own banks in Iraq, and they funnel money between them, and they do a lot of illegal activities. So in order for you to go after the criminals that are involved, that would mean you'd have to go after Maliki and his group of people. And who's going to go after him? Nobody. They control the government. Now, if you guys remember, when Al-Qademi was prime minister, he was going after Maliki and his friends. And what happened? They killed his best friend. They assassinated him. And then all of a sudden, Al-Qademi did not have the support of the government to go after Maliki and his people. So he stopped. But he did go after some family members. Al-Sudini, well, what has he done to stop Maliki and his people? Nothing. Nothing at all. Al-Sudini is a student of Maliki. So are they going to go after the coordinated framework? No. As a matter of fact, the government meets with the coordinated framework religiously to go over government functions regularly. providing regular updates to the SWIFT system and relevant international authorities on its progress in implementing these requirements and maintaining compliance with international sanctions. While we know recently the United States nailed 14 banks and gave them sanctions, in your opinion, do you think Iraq is taking the necessary steps possible to make sure that these sanctions that are imposed on Iran or anywhere else, do you think Iraq is taking the necessary steps to stop the people who are violating the sanctions? No, they're not. So until you can stop Maliki and his people who run the government from violating sanctions, you're going to have a hard time getting them qualified to be back on the SWIFT system. And like I said in another video, the problem with Iraq is the same politicians have been in power for a long time. All they do is change positions. One time this person is going to be the prime minister. The next time they're going to be the president. The next time they're going to be at this one. So the same group of people are in power all the time. Once they get their crap together, here's how they can get reinstated. Once Iraq has demonstrated its commitment to meeting the requirements, it can begin the process of reintegration into the SWIFT system. So here's the steps that are going to be necessary. And this is another reason why you might see Iraq head towards BRICS, because they know all their illegal activity is going to prevent them from being on the SWIFT system. They could have stopped this long ago. Over the past 20 years, they could have done what was necessary to get the Iraq back where it needs to be. But the fact that you got the same government people in power is why they're never going to change. So here we go. They have to submit an application to the SWIFT system, which includes providing detailed information about its financial institutions and their compliance with international sanctions, conducting an on-site assessment by SWIFT or its designated assessors, which evaluates Iraq's compliance with the requirements and determines whether it is ready for reintegration. Upon approval, Iraqi's financial institutions are reconnected to the SWIFT system, allowing them to resume participating in the global financial messaging system. So when I say Iraq is going to go international, I never say they just need to go international. They just need to go international. I never say that. I say in order for Iraq to be recognized on the international market, this is what I'm talking about. They need to get back on the SWIFT system. If you guys want to see a change in the exchange rate, they have to get their crap together and stop allowing Iran to control them. Until they can get rid of those Iranian-backed politicians, I think you're going to have a hard time getting them qualified for a lot of things. Anyways, that's it for now. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I am out.